At 4:30, a Springfield man's been arrested in connection to two business break-ins. Shortly after midnight Saturday morning, officers responded to a convenience store in the 100 block of Chestnut Street. The alarms were going off after being forcibly broken into. Video of the store showed the suspect walking off with the cash register drawer. That same suspect, now identified as 61-year-old Jose Vasquez, also seen breaking into a business in the 100 block of State Street and leaving with that register. That's where officers found him holding the register, and they placed him under arrest. He now faces charges for burglary and breaking and entering.